Dear students, let us talk about the today's newspaper, that is 14th April 2016. The first article is related to the Ambedkar and his views. So the Sanjay Hegde's article, what it says is this. What Ambedkar always believed is, the caste is anti-national. India as a nation still has not emerged. With so many inequalities, we cannot live together as a nation. Unless we appreciate this sense, we cannot work towards building a strong nationhood in India. So in this case, the Chaturvarna system, which is based on occupational inequality, will bring an atrocity and oppression of the Dalits by the upper caste. So he has vehemently opposed to the Manusmriti and also provided that the caste annihilation is the way forward towards building the nationalism. So in this context, the entire, from ancient texts today, there is an organized and systematic belief in the Chaturvarna system. And this structural belief has to be broken with intellectual thinking. So intellectual questioning of the status quoism is the major or a way forward to beat the casteism in India. And coming to D. Raja's article, what he talks about is this from the Ambedkar ideals. He tries to bring in Buddhism and Marxism together, how the exploitation of the masses is happening in the existing society and how Ambedkar views are against to that. That's what he tries to explain in this article. Now, everywhere there is a misuse of sense of nationalism. It is both in the economic dimension and also in the social dimension. Now, certain sections of the society, they try to access the economic resources of us collectively, and they wanted to replace the European traders by bringing in the sense of Swadeshi and nationalism. So in this sense of nationalism, the workers never mattered for them. So that is one way. Today the neoliberal ideology, it has further aggravated the problem by making it across the colonial borders. So, on the economic sense, accumulation of the wealth is happening, and on the social sense, whenever these classes, the working classes or the depressed classes, they raise the slogan for the justice, automatically a sense of nationalism is imposed, and the unity and integrity of the nation, threat to the nationalism, these are imposed through various legal means to suppress them. This is a social misuse of nationalism. If you come to Ambedkar, Ambedkar always believed democracy from the perspective of humanism. That's why Granville Austin has called the Indian Constitution foremost a social document rather than a political document. So a democracy is a place where everyone shall have an equal opportunity. It is not just a political ideology according to Ambedkar, it is a way of life where everyone's voice is given a due respect and everyone has an opportunity to participation in social and economic life. Now in this context, by spreading these views, Ambedkar stressed on substantive democracy. The important component of this substantive democracy is social justice. So what Ambedkar said is, the social justice can be achieved through equality, liberty and fraternity. For this, the fraternity is the basis for liberty and equality, and this fraternity brings in the sense of nationhood among the people. It means all the people shall believe each other and respect each other as equal individuals. The caste is the major hindrance to this. So the annihilation of the caste, again he stressed on this. Now, the social justice is integral to the democracy according to Ambedkar. So he believed that the Hinduism do not bring in this fraternity because of its caste demarcations, and so he converted into Buddhism. So what he said is, different bhikshus coming from different castes, etc., they form one single identical group. So what Buddha said is, there's different streams of the water flowing in from different rivers, but they merge into one single ocean. Similarly, different castes and identity shall merge into one single ocean. So there shall be no identity demarcation or caste demarcation shall exist in Buddhism. That made him to embrace the Buddhism. The next is the Christopher Jefferlot article about the Ambedkar against nationalism. So as I said to you, Ambedkar even opposed the idea of Indian freedom movement. So, in 1930, after the Karachi session, where total independence for India was moved, in 1930 there is first session of All India Depressed Classes. In that session, what Ambedkar said is this: he has opposed the Congress concept of independence, and he said, entire independence movement is dominated by the social elites, and it is moving at the cost of the oppression of the masses. And the second thing is, during the Second World War, the launch of the Quit India movement was also opposed by Ambedkar. The reason is this: he believed the Nazism and Fascism is a greater threat than the British. And he also, as active participant of Defense Advisory Council, and added to that, as a member of the Advisory Council to Viceroy, he has put forward various labor laws that shows his attention towards the welfare of the working class. So in this case, from the true sense of what the mainstream India thinks as a national independence movement, a national movement, the Ambedkar never in alignment with that, because he never believed India is a one single nation, because a nation comes from the people's sense of collectiveness, but that collectiveness is missed because of the caste system in India. And coming to this particular article about the development, so I wanted to bring Indian Express and Hindu articles related to Ambedkar at one single place. The question, always prepare for this question: Indian Constitution is first a social document. Today I gave that question in the things too. Now, let's come to the development. Now let's remember this thing. Most of the countries, they went from landline phone, then to the mobile, and then to the 4G, 5G, etc. There is a gradual evolution. But in India, India leapfrogged from, without even having the landline, directly having the mobile phone. So in this context, India has learned from the mistakes of the other nations. So this is what is called developmental leapfrogging. If India fails to learn this, the correction and recorrection will always be the way forward. So always the development has to be understood from cross-national and cultural perspective, where we shall be able to learn something from the failures of the others. Now coming to the India-US Logistics Support Agreement, which is renamed as India-USA Logistics Exchange Memorandum of Agreement. Now there is a C. Raja Mohan article over here, and also an editorial of Hindu. Now, what is this logistical support agreement is? It will provide Indian forces to operate and use American bases and vice versa. So what the Raja Mohan says is this: this particular agreement is especially useful to Indian Navy to operate far from our subcontinent, especially in the growing threats. So India needs supportive bases across the world to operate in a wider area. And the next is, most of the Congress establishment and bureaucratic establishment, they opposed any serious engagement with the United States of America due to deep mistrust built in between these two countries. The violation of the non-aligned movement, and the next is the strategic autonomy violation of this are said as the reasons for not going close to United States. But however, 2005 itself we have changed our course. When India signed the Defense Cooperation Agreement with the United States of America, the things are changing for India. So in this context, we need to understand that as India is growing as an economic power, it shall be able to deter the forces that can destabilize it. It happens only through a military might. So, the United States and India's agreement do not constitute a military alliance. It is just a strong military cooperation. And India always observed, or it was in a dilemma, either it will make India to move away from Beijing, or else the strategic embrace of United States or Japan, will it be seen as a counter to the China? So this equidistance, maintaining the neutrality between Washington and its allies and Beijing, It never worked in favor of India. So in this context, it is India has to define its relations with Washington independent of Beijing. So the self-interest has to guide the country. And 2 days back, I gave you a statement. The India's close movement towards United States as a military power through military means. It is not to provoke conflict with China. It is to deter the China for coming into conflict with India. So we have to see the things other way around. And added to that, the agreement was favorable to India. So among the 3 foundational agreements, India signed only one agreement to the conditions specified by India. So the joint statement says that there has to be a freedom of navigation in South China Sea. India did not agree for joint patrols. India also did not agree yet for the sharing of the commercial ship and their movements in the Indian Ocean with the United States. Now, in this article, Komgata Maru incident, already I have discussed that in yesterday's newspaper. The monsoon forecast. Now, with regard to your geography, understand this. Now, 1951 to 2001, the entire data forms the basis to understand what is average and above average or deficit monsoon. So this is called as long-term average rainfall. That is the basis to understand the rainfall. So, from June to September is the major rain-giving season in India. In this season, so the entire nation, how much is the rain on an average it is getting is the basis. This report do not provide how much the rain received by a particular region. It takes India as a unit to calculate the rainfall. Now, based on this, you cannot say your area gets the rain or not. That is the major deficit. Now, world output faces the risk of 3.9%, the IMF. Now, the financial stability report, who gives this report? That is IMF. In its latest global financial stability report, what IMF says is, there is a threat of drop of global GDP by 3.9%. Especially, what are the reasons? The continuous devaluation of currencies, and then fall in global commodity prices, and added to that, the financial risk aversion. None of the banking sector across the world is interested to loan for the productive actions. These are the risks we need to overcome. And coming to restoration of the rivers, India and Germany came to an agreement with regard to the restoration of Ganga River. So you all know that India has taken up a Namo Gange project, a 30,000 crore rupees initiative to clean the Ganga and restore its water flows by 2020. So the Israel is also coming in partnership with regard to water purification and filtration. And UK will also share its expertise in reviving the aquatic life. Germany and its example of cleaning of River Rhine that will be replicated as a consultant with Ganga River. So these are the important articles for today. All the best. Thank you very much.